Hey guys, this is At Home, a video series where you can ask me all your burning questions about Hunt Showdown and other topics, and I'll tell you what I think. Part informed opinion, part conjecture. The questions this month were really great, and we're going to cover a lot of cool topics like the Caldwell packs, trade ideas, and some broader Hunt subjects. You might have also seen that Souls of a Feather got released this week, and you can pick that up in the Crytek store using code HOME for a little discount. Be sure to subscribe for future calls for your questions, and the footage in today's episode is from a bomb lance video that I never made about the frag bolts, so enjoy that. Also, I'm still getting over COVID, so sorry if I sound a little funny. The first question comes from Steve the Giraffe. How do you feel about the current state of the packs with the new Scotfield additions? Are there any changes you would make? Or as Fermentos so eloquently put it, why do the devs hate the packs? And that's a good question. It feels like it's been years at this point where the packs has felt a little unexciting compared to some of the other pistols getting new variants and custom ammo. And most recently, the Scotfield got two new custom ammo types, high velocity and dum-dum ammo, and I think a lot of people wanted to see high velocity go to the packs. So as it currently sits, the packs has dum-dum, FMJ, incendiary, and poison, and the Scotfield has FMJ, incendiary, high velocity, and dum-dum. But importantly, the Scotfield also has interesting variants like the Spitfire and the Scotfield Swift, where the packs just has the packs claw, and although melee variants of weapons have gotten some love recently, the packs still feels just whelming. To be fair, the problem with the packs isn't that it's bad. It's actually a really great all-rounder with good ammo type options, and it got a buff not too long ago where its fanning spread is a bit tighter. It's a good pistol, reliable and dependable in most situations, but by golly, is that a little boring. So, what can Crytek do to make the packs more fun? Well, medium weapons commonly have a comeback kid story arc. The Vetterli and the Centennial have both blossomed into well-rounded tech trees with cool variants, so I guess the packs could do the same. We don't currently have a medium ammo pistol carbine, I don't think, unless I'm forgetting it on the spot. So maybe the PAX Carbine could be exciting, but we've also seen a lot of new medium ammo stuff recently with the Drilling and the Cyclone, so Crytek could also want to cool it with adding new medium weapons. We could also see a PAX chain pistol, like the Caldwell chain pistol, which isn't horrible, but I mean, admittedly, that's not the most exciting variant in the world. I still wouldn't be taking the PAX chain pistol just because it's new. But I feel like both of those would be a step in the right direction, a PAX chain pistol, a PAX carbine. The PAX is good, it's fine, but people want to see more creativity there, and I think giving it new variants could help that. But let me know what you think down below. How can Crytek make the PAX more exciting? The next question comes from Playing It Wrong. Is there room for traits with more explicit negative effects? Something with more explicit cons to go with the pros. For example, a trait not giving vocal hit notifications, but no longer being able to ping. A trait called Powerful, where sprint speed is marginally slower, but melee is notably, 25% maybe, more powerful. Or a trait called Deep Pockets, slightly higher ammo pools, also slightly longer reload times. I chose this question because I like the creativity there, and when we first saw the red burn trait spurs, I was curious if we would see some curse traits that have some sort of trade-off, as you suggested in your question. Either new traits or existing ones with a debuff, like you could find maybe Doctor in the world as a curse trait, and you would get that trait Doctor, where you heal twice as much, but your health regen would be 25% slower in this curse version of it. It's an interesting idea, and I'm sure if you sat in front of a whiteboard, you could think of some really cool combinations that jive well with the high risk, high reward gameplay of Hunt Showdown. The problem with this idea is it adds complexity to a trait system which is already daunting to new players. Like, how long does it take to learn all the traits and their abilities, and then you get these new traits that also have debuffs in addition to the season pack traits, and now burn traits are a permanent addition. That's just a lot to comprehend, even for seasoned players. I think if we were going to introduce this debuff idea, it might work best as a tweak to the burn traits, because you could actually lose the debuff if that burn trait got consumed. But again, do we need the extra complexity? For anyone that's played a lot of Dead by Daylight, sometimes reading all the patch notes with tweaks to the buffs and debuffs of so many traits, it's just kind of an eye roll sometimes with how complex all that stuff can get. And I don't think I'd want to see that for Hunt. So there's a part of me that likes the idea of traits that have explicit downsides, but how you integrate it without bringing a new level of complexity wouldn't be an easy thing to solve. If Crytek was going to do it though, it might be best to do it as a trial run in the pack trait system and see how that fares. The next question comes from Crucial. Do you think Crytek may oversaturate the weapons/custom ammo pools? I personally think some weapons have lost their niches due to the new, stronger weapons coming out in updates, or weapons getting access to special ammos previously not available to them. Centennial Dum Dum overshadows Springfield Dum Dum, for example. The custom ammo situation is an interesting one to me because I assume most of the decisions are based on data about things like pick rate or whatnot, and maybe Crytek is trying to see how to make some weapons more popular by giving them new custom ammo types, or like what we discussed with the packs and the Scott field with medium ammo in general, it could be an attempt to make medium ammo generally more favorable than just taking an uppercut every game. Not that I see them all the time now, but they're still pretty popular in 5 and 6 star lobbies. Every time you make a loadout, you do some complicated mental math on what pairs well together, and for me at least, the custom ammo types a weapon has does play some factor in what I'm taking. Like, I love the Centennial with FMJ, but the Dum Dum ammo does make me take a second guess about what the obvious choice for the Centennial is. And the question becomes, do I want to be effective or annoying? And both can help you win. So, I get the curiosity around custom ammo maybe eroding the niche of some weapons, but the Springfield is still much cheaper and requires no traits to be effective, and it can take 2 ammo types and does more base damage. So, I mean, the Springfield definitely has some advantages over the Centennial, even if the Centennial also can take Dum Dum. The real issue that I have with custom ammo is that the damage status effects are just so frequent in a fight right now. You get tagged with Dum Dum, and you have to stop the bleeding. And then the next guy hits you with poison ammo, and you have to wait for that to go away before you can heal. And that frag grenade makes you bleed again, and then you get ignited with some guy with incendiary ammo. It's a lot, and sometimes it can feel like playing Risk of Rain with all the different debuffs that can hit you, but I guess we're just on that road to make different weapons more interesting than just taking long ammo every game, which itself has its own custom ammos too, which kind of complicates this whole thing. I don't know, I can't say if Crytek is striking the right balance. It's not really for me to decide, but I also don't usually skip taking custom ammo unless I'm using long ammo weapons. So yeah, it's a complicated system of user choice, and I'm not sure what they could do to even it out. Custom ammo is one worth watching, especially with the new boxes that you can find in the world. The next question comes from Slays for Days. Do you feel like the game is getting too far removed from its dark 1890s roots with all the Harry Potter magic and generally smoother weapons? Well, I don't know which of the new weapons I would call smoother. The Cyclone is a clunky little bastard in its own right, and I want to scream every time I need to switch firing modes on the drilling. It is so slow. So just from that standpoint, I wouldn't say smooth per se, but I do kind of get what you mean. Hunt Showdown is not like a cowboy simulator, especially with the dark magic tide events that we're going through and all the moon events before that. But the thing is, and I think people kind of need to remember this, Hunt never was intended to be a cowboy simulator. Like, it has cowboy themes and a Wild West setting, kind of, but also this Southern Gothic thing that is prevalent in everything from its music to its sound design to the architecture to the weapons to the legendary hunters. I mean, it's there all the time everywhere. I think we've seen a wave of hunt conservatism because there's been so much change and experimentation, and I think a lot of people just want to be a cowboy and get into cool shootouts, but they don't necessarily like the dark magic wizardry of Necro Revive and pack traits and all that. I understand those feelings and I can empathize, but I also think those feelings come from a place of wanting Hunt to be a certain type of simple rather than an actual past period of simplicity where it was just a cowboy game. I've been playing it for a long time and that was just never the case. Is Hunt becoming too magical or too complex? That's probably for the community to decide, not just me in a video, but in my own experience, I wouldn't mind a simplified game mode or something. But I think the corruption gives Crytek more freedom to introduce new content like the Stalker Beetle and wildcard effects. So I don't know, did that answer the question? I think it did. I don't think it's too far removed from anything. I think it's just Hunt Showdown being its own unique thing. Okay, it's time for the rapid fire questions that don't require long answers. So let's do it. The first one comes from I Eat Batteries. That sounds like a bad idea. Do you think the flash bomb changes were a good change? Did they accomplish what Crytek wants from the consumable? Personally, I like the changes. You can still take a flash bomb if you hate the world, but I'm not constantly having my retinas singed, destroying any hopes of seeing the faces of my grandchildren. Do I see way less flash bombs? Yes. Am I sad about it? No. I've never heard a good argument for why the flash bomb was super necessary in the first place, and I'm glad it's finally been brought in line. So, do I think it was a good change? Sure. And what I think Crytek wanted to accomplish was to stop people complaining about it. So, mission accomplished, I think. The next question is from Light Poodle. Do you think there is any possibility of Crytek bringing back old event skins like the Plague Doctor now that there are lots of newer players? Or do you think they will stay as a status symbol for veteran players? It's tough because I wonder if there's any legalese about what Crytek can legally do when they advertise a skin as event exclusive. I think for some skins they will have to leave them in the past, and the Plague Doctor might be one of those, just as a reward to veteran players. But other skins, I'm not sure people would care that much if they brought them back. I think the Native American skins should see a comeback eventually, personally. I like my exclusive skins, but I also want other people to enjoy things. And, if you weren't playing Hunt Showdown, I don't think you should be punished. I understand the frustration of not being able to purchase those things. To me, it's more about how Crytek leverages exclusivity that makes you want to buy or grind something, and I would want that system to remain fair. If they sell an exclusive, limited time only skin for 2,000 blood bonds, and then bring it back like 6 months later for like 500 blood bonds, that would make people mad. So yeah, there are important considerations. I don't know what they should do, really, but I think some skins could make a return, and it would be okay. Let me know if you disagree, and it's totally fine if you do. The next question comes from Pagro, the Shovel God. A trait that adds a third weapon slot, meaning you can carry a medium, large if combined with Quartermaster weapon, and 2 different 1-slot weapons, or 2 medium and 1 small weapon. Trait cost would be around 7 or 8 points, I'd reckon. If I remember correctly, Quartermaster or Frontiersman used to let you bring an extra tool, like that was the 4th tool slot. You would get 3 by default, and then you could take a trait and bring a 4th one. And if you didn't have that trait, that bound key was just kind of useless in that moment. So just from a keybind situation, I don't think this trait would work, because you would need a button that only works sometimes with this trait. But I also think it would break a lot of balancing systems too. You could stack a lot of ammo with this trait if you just took all the same ammo type, and that would be kind of annoying. But you could also bring a medium slot rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, and that seems kind of broken too. So probably not for this trait, but it is an interesting idea. The next question comes from Taggart MC. What about a 1 or 2 point trait that in Darksight it pulls all your throwing knives, axes, and arrows to your person in a small radius? More useful than digging in the dirt for a knife you threw. To me, this trait would depend how small the radius is, and this trait would probably make Blade Seer obsolete. Why would you need to see the blades if you could just suck them up like Tubby Custard or something? So probably not for this trait, but it is an interesting idea. Sorry, I'm still thinking about Tubby Custard. The next question comes from Albert Roth. What do you think about a trait that shows the red-white boss status to the whole team when a teammate dark sights? I assume you're talking about the whisper you get if an enemy enters the boss compound layer, and one player could have this trait and share that info with teammates automatically. Would it be nice? Sure, why not, for like 1 trait point? But usually teammates checking dark sight just double tap ping in the boss layer to indicate enemy players have arrived. So I'd probably never take this trait, especially when like kite skin exists. So maybe if it did it automatically, like it just did that scan, and so you didn't have to enter dark sight, that could be nice. I just don't know that people would take it. The next question comes from Public Spring Water. How would you say you are doing mentally right now? Is there anything bothering you, or perhaps something you did that you're proud of recently? Yeah, we have some stuff to chat about this month. That'll be like a different video. But as for mental health, Man, I am not experiencing burnout anymore, which is great, but there is just a shift in interest as of late. Battlefield 2042 has held my attention way better than I expected, and getting over this COVID stuff has been a pain in the ass, so I'm really ready to just be healthy and focus on the stuff I want to focus on. I don't know if that's a vague answer, but yeah, I'm doing pretty good. And the final question for the episode comes from Ratty. Are there any tips you have for anyone trying to get into content creation? I probably do have a lot of advice that I don't know how general it could be. If you're an aspiring content creator, you can always DM me on Twitter or Discord. I might have some notes about specific videos or thumbnails if you want to ask about that. Generally, I think new channels struggle to stick to a content schedule. I've done a video every Friday for like 2 years now or something. And there's always been times when I didn't want to make a video, including today, just not feeling great. Of course, having a strict schedule isn't a perfect system. Some of my Friday videos have absolutely sucked. Hopefully not this one, but the schedule forced me to keep learning those skills and using them, and that's carried me much further than inspiration or passion ever could have. So yeah, for new people, make a schedule and stick to it. Even if that's just one video a month and no one is watching, it's okay. You'll learn new stuff along the way. Also, I recommend studying what videos are popular in your niche and then finding how you can put your own style on them. There's a lot of Hunt Showdown gameplay in the world, but I try to make a little more of a human video, usually. Maybe some story stuff in there. I don't know. You'll find your thing. Don't put too much pressure. Just make the stuff you want to make. And if people seem to think you're like a 3-star player, that's okay too. Don't worry about it. Just keep making your things. All right. That's the conclusion for today's video. Let me know your thoughts about the topics. Okay, I already fucked this up. All right, that's the conclusion of today's video. Let me know your thoughts on the topics we discussed. How can Crytek make the packs more exciting? Does it need to be exciting to be a good weapon? Is Hunt 2 Harry Potter now? Let me know down below, and until the next one, goodbye.